republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And you can
What
leave
was that?
with the honor code too. I'm recording the meeting for Emma.
No. I heard like a squeaky noise on your end.
Probably my desk.
Oh. Honor. I will honor those things which are good, true, and beautiful. Respect. I will show respect to others at all times. Service. I will do good things for others without being asked. Excellence. I will strive for excellence in all things. Perseverance. I will fulfill commitments and not give up or act on discouragement.
Okay, let's have a moment of silence, boys and girls. Okay, well, let's start on some phonogram review. Can you all take out your whiteboard and marker? Arya is ready. Oh, it's probably that squeaky noise he's talking about. That's my computer against the desk that squeaks. Okay, for our first phonogram today, we're going to write, it's some single letter phonograms today. Would you please write the phonogram B? B. And say the sound as you write it. B. I see Sahanasri and Samhita both doing that. B. Excellent. Next, please write J. 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 Not G, J, but just J. Excellent. It looks like maybe Tig is finding his whiteboard. Rishith and Marcus, make sure you're holding it up after each phonogram. Thank you. Marcus, and it looks like Arshab as well. I need you to hold up your board after each phonogram. Thank you. B and J. That's what you should have so far. Next, please write M. M, like Marcus. M. Hold it up after you're done writing each phonogram, please, boys and girls. B, J, and M. Marcus, do you not have a whiteboard nearby? It's a little hard to read when it's just with pencil. Do you have a whiteboard handy? Okay, then just try your best to hold it right up to the camera so I can see it like this. Next, please write the phonogram. Great job, Marcus. Great job, Alina. Thank you, Arshab. Next up, let's do ul. leave it at that with phonograms today. Now let's do some words that will be on the test. Today's Thursday, so that means we've got a test tomorrow. And our first word is sense, as in sense of smell is one of the 5 senses. Sense. Hold it up as soon as you're done. Right to the camera, please. Especially if you're writing just with pencil. I need it to be as close to the camera as possible so I can really see it well. Sense. That includes Rishith and Arshav. It looks like you're not holding it up to the camera. Hold it up as soon as you're done, please. Thank you, Arshav. You're good. Just keep it up there for a while because sometimes I'll look at somebody's and I'm not seeing yours. So just, can you hold it up there so I can see everybody's? Okay, Arshav? Great job. It should look like this, boys and girls. Arshav, I want you to keep holding it up for longer, okay? Because once again, a lot of times I'll kind of look away at somebody else's. So let's get into the habit of keeping it there so I can see everybody's words. Alexander, it looks like you used an it there. We do kind of say an I sound, but it should be e, sense. Now we're going to use this as the base for the next few words. Let's write sensible. Rishith, I see you just looking at the computer rather than writing. I need your eyes on your board writing, okay? Sensible. Should look like this. Excellent job if you spelled this correctly. If you've got any mistakes, please rewrite it. Simhita, make sure you're holding it up when you're done each time, please. Thank you. Next up is nonsense. Nonsense. We're writing nonsense, Aryansh. Nonsense. Rishith, don't look at the computer, please. I need eyes on your board writing it and then hold it up when you're done. Keep it up there, boys and girls. Keep it up. I want to see everybody's boards on the screen. Don't just do this, because then when it's my time to look at your screen, I'm not able to see it. So I'm waiting for Marcus, Drisha, and Dikshita and Aryansh. Please hold yours up when you're done. Nonsense. Marcus, Dikshita, and Aryansh, hold it up when you're done. Thank you so much, Aryansh. As close to the camera as possible. Great job, Dikshita. It looks like I'm just waiting for Marcus. Marcus, make sure you're writing it. Okay, good. You should start writing it, boys and girls, as soon as I say the word, okay? Let's try that again. Solemn. With your marker in hand, write solemn. We're going to think to spell this solemn with a silent n. Remember that? Great job, Arshab. Oh, almost, Alexander. The first syllable is aw, sol, m. Dikshita, you're close. In the second syllable, it should be solemn. I think some of you are thinking of the solemn column. That's right, Tig. Looks like I'm waiting for just Marcus again. Make sure you're holding it up when you're done, please. Close to the camera. Thank you so much, Marcus. Okay, it should look like this. Check that your spelling matches mine. That's a tough one. Great job if you spelled it correctly. Last two words you can write at the same time. Tie and tide. Not tig, but tie and tide. Like I have a necktie on, or I tied my shoelaces. Tie and tide. Great job, Marcus. Oh, it looks like Marcus for solemn, you forgot the N at the end. I know that's hard to remember. It's silent, but we have a silent N at the end of solemn. And here's tie and tide. These are going to be on tomorrow's test. Who feels ready for the test? Hopefully you do. If not, you might want to review your words so that you feel really ready tomorrow. All of these are in your orthography notebook, in your binder. You've got them in 2 spots. Yes, Ariansh?
So for the test, what lessons to what lessons?
Great question. Let me find that. I can get it to you. It ends at lesson 71, starts, looks like 66. So 66 through 71. I'll write it in the chat. For any of you,
index card.
Yep, great idea. If any of you would like to keep reviewing these words, you can look at lesson 66 to 71 in your orthography notebook to feel prepared. Okay, time to put our boards away and get out our binders for a new spelling lesson. Okay, who is ready for our spelling lesson? Thumbs up if you've got your binder out, you've got a pencil, you are ready to write. This is a great time to also make sure we're in ready position for writing. Ready position means feet on the floor. It's sitting up straight and tall, blocks are stacked. Stacking our blocks means our whole spinal column is lined up with our head right on top. Okay, now give me a thumbs up if you are ready for spelling. You've got your binder out and a pencil. Excellent. Okay, now yesterday we learned the word proficient. Can you all say proficient? Proficient means you are good at it, like you've mastered a skill. Maybe you're proficient in Spanish because you've learned enough Spanish that you feel like I can have a conversation in Spanish. I'm proficient. Yes, Alexander?
Are we going to learn the word profile?
Oh, good guess. No, not profile, but very good guess. We are going to learn a word that comes from proficient, though. It's proficiency. Would you all say proficiency? It means basically the same thing, but instead of being used as an adjective, this one's used as a noun. I love Alina and Alexander's fingers under their chin without me even prompting them to sound it out. Would you all put your fingers under your chin and say it with me? Proficiency. 4 syllables. Proficient is spelled just like the word from yesterday, but we're dropping the T. What are the sounds in the last syllable, though, boys and girls? Proficiency. What sounds do you hear, Alina?
E.
Excellent. We're going to use k, saying its second sound because it's followed by I-E. Proficiency. Would you all pick up your pencil and write proficiency? The first 3 syllables are just like the ones in proficient from yesterday. Hold up your word, please, as soon as you're done writing. I want to check that everybody is done. Great job. Hold it up and keep it there right at the camera so I can see proficiency. Oh, Marcus, again, it looks like you've got an index card. For a spelling lesson, we need to use our binder. Do you have your binder? That's going to be better because it's a place to keep track of all of our things and it's not just going to be thrown away. Perfect. So let's go ahead and write proficiency in your binder. Arshab and Rishith, hold up your word when you're done, please. Arshab? Hey, boys and girls. We need to make sure that Arshab does not keep leaving the meetings, but we'll continue on. Proficiency. O, syllable break. I, syllable break. N, syllable break. E, proficiency. Please check that your spelling matches mine. If you made a mistake, just cross it out and rewrite it. Okay, so for the markings, I'll just go ahead and do these ones since most of them are just like yesterday. Proficiency. And instead of an adjective, this time it's a noun. You could say maybe you have proficiency in Lego skills. Maybe you are an expert in that. Or maybe you have proficiency in playing basketball or playing piano. Something that you are excellent in. You've got a level of mastery. Arshad, please don't leave the meeting again. I need you to stay with us the whole time, okay? Yes, ma'am? Even if it is to leave to get some water or a snack, keep the meeting on and you can just walk over to get your water, okay? Boys and girls, let's move on to the next word. Our next word, I think you are going to quite enjoy. What do we call a person in like a book or possibly a movie who is kind of the anti-hero? They're against the hero. What do we call that person, just generally? Josiah?
A villain?
That's right, a villain. Like in Farmer Boy, who might you call some of the villains? I'd say there's only really one villain so far. Alexander, who do you think the villain is?
Or a criminal? The big boys.
The big boys, especially Big Bill Ritchie.
Dun, dun,
I
dun.
think he's kind of a villain in the story. Tig?
In this movie that I watched, there were these people putting on this like really famous show, and in it two people came together, and one of the two bad guys came together to like stop the show and get one, well, and get a money and two treasure off of it, because they're going to places that have treasure that no one's been able to find, and they find it, but one of the guys acts as like a sponsor for the show, and his name is Dominic Bad Guy, but and at
Okay, I'm
least
going to have to
the
stop you
other
off there, Tig.
okay, it
No, but
was
that
just
sounds
really
really
funny.
interesting. Yeah, I bet that's funny. What is it called again?
Um, it was actually a Muppets movie.
It's from a Muppets movie. Oh, so his whole name is Dominic Bad Guy. So of course he's a villain. And Big Bill
Yep.
Ritchie is a villain in Farmer Boy. So a villain is the bad guy. Yep. Like Dominic
But he
Bad Guy.
said his but he said his name was Badgie. He said it was French.
Oh, that is funny. Okay, boys and girls, would you all sound out the word villain as villain? Probably a lot of you have seen this word in writing, so you know it's going to be the A, two-letter A phonogram that we don't use at the end of English words. Say it with me. Villain, 2 syllables. Let's try that again. Villain, 2 syllables. And the first syllable, V, I. We're going to have a silent O there to close off the syllable. Next syllable, O, A, N. 3 sounds. Great job, Harika and Alina. The A we're going to use is a 2-letter A that we do not use at the end of English words, since it's in the middle of the syllable. Please pick up your pencil and write villain. Hold it up as soon as you're done, boys and girls. We're going to do that for the rest of this class because it looks like some of you are maybe not writing the words and maybe just waiting until I go over it. I need you to write it on your own first. That is a great way of making sure that you're sounding it out and writing it, really using your brain and not copying from me, but thinking about it on your own. Great job. Excellent. We're going to do that for all of the words in this lesson. Holding it up when you're done. Rishith and Marcus, can you hold yours up? And Kruthi looks like left the room. Boys and girls, we really shouldn't leave the room during literacy. Oh, she didn't leave the room. Never mind. Thank you, Rishith. Let me see your binder, Marcus. Hold it up, please. Marcus, we can't spend this much longer on a single word. I need you to hold it up the first time I ask, okay, bud? Thank you so much. Great job. Okay, let's go over the spelling. The, I, ul, syllable break. Ul, a, villain. If you made any mistakes, cross it out and rewrite it. And great job if you got it right the first time. Saha Nasri, would you like to mark this word for us? Can you unmute yourself and tell us what we mark?
Okay, the first syllable is basic code, and the second syllable underline the A and the I.
Good.
Yeah.
And we say villain, so what else should we do to this phonogram?
Thinking cap.
Thinking cap, good job. And just like usual, when we have that double consonant separated by a syllable, the first one is silent. Now this is a easy noun, right? Because it's a person.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Saha Nasri. Okay, now for our next one. This is another fun one, I think. Okay, now you might have heard in a story or seen in a movie of a villain coming to their end at the end of the story by falling into like a deep valley or off a cliff. Have you all seen a story end that way where the villain maybe falls off a cliff or into the abyss? Has anybody heard that before? Like falling into the abyss, a deep, dark abyss. That's like, oh, this bottomless pit. They just keep going and going and going, falling into the abyss. Yes, Ariach? You guys haven't heard that one before?
Like the Grand Canyon.
Oh, the Grand Canyon is basically like an abyss. Yeah, a great, almost, it seems bottomless drop.
Yeah, I've heard that word.
Cool. Okay, so abyss is especially used for like when it's really dark and it just goes on and on and on forever, and it seems like, well, it seems like it goes on and on and on forever, and you have no idea what's down there. So it's for things that are like this just scary big drop. We can just call this one as abyss. Abyss. There's an a-a-ah and an open syllable there.
Kind of like
Found that out with me?
space, but no gravity.
Oh, very good. Maybe kind of like a vacuum in space would be a great way to think of an abyss. Love that. Okay, let's say abyss. Abyss. 2 syllables. The first syllable is just a in an open syllable saying its name. Second syllable, b-is. 3 sounds. Do you know what makes the is sound in this word? Ty, do you know? I think you've seen this word in writing.
Yes, I have. It's a Y.
Yeah, it's I-E making the is sound in that syllable.
I also know a connection to this word.
Okay.
My mom describes us kids as never-ending pits of hunger.
Oh my goodness. That's very clever. So you could say you're an abyss of hunger. This never-ending huge chasm. So at the end of this word, we're also going to double the S. So it's I-E for the is sound, but also double that S. Would you all pick up your pencil and write abyss we think to spell abyss. Nice job, Tig. Tig, the Abyss of Hunger. It's your new name. Okay, once again, just like Alina, hold it up when you're done. I want to see how you did on your own. Quickly, as soon as you're done writing, please, boys and girls. Great job, Aryansh. Great job, Rishith and Sahanasri. Abyss. Okay, let's write it. A syllable break. B, is, s. Abyss. Samhita, would you like to mark the word for us?
Yes, please. You underline the A because it's in an open syllable.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put a number 1 on the Y.
So let's first put a thinking cap on the A too, because we say abyss.
Oh yeah.
And then for this one, it is the first vowel sound, so that means actually we don't write anything.
Okay.
Because when it's the first sound, we don't write a number.
Mm-hmm. Then we double underline the first S.
Oh, so this one's a little bit tricky. Almost always, you're exactly right that we double underline the first consonant, but when it's at the end of a word, like the word floss, it's the second one that's underlined. Do y'all remember that, boys and girls? I don't know if we've seen that this year for Samhita, since this is your first year doing the access literacy. But the first one is silent when we have a syllable break between them. The second one is silent at the end of a word. Okay,
Nice.
and it's a place, it's a thing, kind of. So what part of speech?
It's a noun?
Yep, you got it. Okay, and our final word today is a type of fruit that maybe many of you eat in the summertime. It is a type of melon. Any guesses as to what it is? I think a lot of you are going to guess something that is actually a little different. Yes, Sahanasri, what's your guess?
Watermelon.
Oh, who loves watermelon? But that's actually not it. Think of another type of melon that is orange. You got it?
Oh my God, it says watermelon.
Not watermelon, but what? Harika, do you know it?
You said it. It's a melon.
Not just any melon. What type of melon? Aryansh? Aryansh knows it.
Cantaloupe.
You got it. Cantaloupe. Who's had cantaloupe before?
That was tiring.
Okay, let me show you a picture of a cantaloupe in case some of you have never seen one or eaten one. It's a type of melon. It's orange with this kind of green rind, the seeds in the middle. Who's had that before? Cantaloupe like that. Maybe you've had it, but only chopped up like in a fruit salad. That's what the full melon looks like though. Okay, so cantaloupe. Cantaloupe. We think to spell cantaloupe. We use the ow, o, u, phonogram in this one. You got it. So it's going to make that O sound, but I think it's helpful to think of it as ow. Can you all sound it out with me? Cantaloupe. 3 syllables. Actually, the t is in the second syllable. So the first syllable, k-a-p. 3 sounds. That's a k at the beginning. Next syllable, t-a. A is in an open syllable. And finally, 3 sounds. Now we're going to have a silent finally. Excellent job, Ty. You already knew how to spell it before we even went through the last syllable. Hold it up like Tig as soon as you're done, please. Hold it up. Cantaloupe. If you make some mistakes, it's okay. We'll correct it soon. Great job, Kruthi. Good job, Aryanch, Alexander. Thank you, Sahanasri. Rishith, it looks like you may not be writing. I need you to be writing. If you're done, then you should be holding up your word. Thank you. Cantaloupe is the way we think to spell it. Okay. Cantaloupe. Syllable break. A syllable break. P. Silent final E. Oh my goodness. Samhita has some cantaloupe already. Oh my goodness.
My mom was cutting it this morning. So then, as soon as we had the word cantaloupe, as soon as I wrote it down in print and cursive, I was like, I'm gonna go and get it to show. We have some cantaloupe.
Oh, perfect. That's your snack for today?
Yep.
Nice. Well, what a coincidence. She's going to eat some cantaloupe today. Okay. Check that your spelling matches mine. Cross it out and rewrite it if you have any mistakes. Josiah, could you mark the word for us?
Okay, put the N in the T.
You'll need to come a little closer to the camera.
Put a thinking cap on the A.
Good. Underline and thinking cap that A.
And then underline the phonogram.
Hey, you'll need to stay right there, Josiah, as you talk, because I can't hear you otherwise. What do we do in the last syllable?
So we underline on the phonogram.
Which one?
Ow, oh,
Good. Ow, oh, ooh, ah. Now, which one is it saying? Which sound? Cantaloupe. Ow, oh, ooh, ah.
Second.
I see Samhita holding up. Good job. The second sound. And then what's the job number for the silent final E? That's an odd job 6. That's right. Good job, Harika and Samhita. And Josiah, once again, I need you to move to the right a little bit because I can't hear you when you're over there to the left. Okay. So when you stay unmuted, can you stay right there in that spot? Yep. Right there when you need to talk. Thank you. Okay, boys and girls, that's all for your cursive today. What part of speech is cantaloupe? Or not all for cursive, that's all for spelling. And the part of speech for cantaloupe is a noun. Good. Please write them in cursive. And then for the other cursive practice, we're going to write stanza 2 of our poem. We wrote stanza 1 yesterday. And we're going to write stanza 2 today. So in cursive, we'll write all 4 spelling words. I know some of you already did this. And then underneath it, we're going to write the second stanza of the poem. And I'm going to show you what the stanza looks like from the poetry book so that you know where to end each line. Do y'all remember talking about that yesterday, that we end the lines in poetry in a very specific spot to keep the rhyming? Right, so we'll do that in cursive today. Feel free to stand up and stretch for a little bit, take a little break before you start writing it. But this is going to be our second stanza. So stanza 2. He watched all day, he watched all night, till he grew pale and lean, from the early show to the late show, and all the shows between. Okay, so we're going to write that stanza in cursive. So we want to end at night, lean, show, and between. In this stanza, we only have 2 lines that rhyme. Do you see them? Which ones rhyme? Which ones are they, Samhita?
You watched all day and you watched all night. So you grew from the early show to the late show. Lean in between.
Good. Lean and between rhyme. So these 2 lines rhyme. The other ones actually do not. Okay, let's write it in cursive. And just say it as we write it too. Jimmy Jett and his TV set by Shel Silverstein. I'll tell you the story of Jimmy Jett. And you know what I tell you is true. He loved to watch his TV set almost as much as you. Now here's stanza 2. He watched all day. He watched all night. Uh-oh, look at that. At the end of all, I'm out of room. Where am I going to write night? I'm going to write it here on the right side. And after night, start a new line. No matter where you end it, we're going to start a new line after night. Till he grew pale and lean. That one's a little shorter. I'm able to fit that all on one line. I'm not sure about you. Marcus, are you writing it in cursive? Great. Yep. So start here. This is the poem. He watched all day. He watched all night till he grew pale and lean. Who knows what's next? What's the next line? Alexander?
To the early show, to the late show, and all the shows between. Perfect.
Or almost perfect. The very first word is the only difference. Instead of to, we'll say from. From, so close. The early show. And early show is the name of a show, so we're going to put it in parentheses. To the late show. That's the third line. From the early show to the late show. Marcus, are you writing? This should just be in your binder, right underneath. Oh, if you don't have a pencil, then you need to find a new one. Marcus, there's no reason not to write, bud. I need you to get their supplies so that you're ready to write. Can you unmute yourself? I don't know what you're saying.
I am writing.
Okay. Sounds good. No, but sorry, I don't mean to say that if you are actually writing. But I just want to make sure you're doing everything in cursive. Who's ready for the last line of the stanza? Not quite yet, Dikshita? Okay. After from the early show to the late, late show, what comes next? Does anybody know the next line? He watched all day, he watched all night till he grew pale and lean. From the early show to the late, late show. What's the last line of the stanza, Rishith?
And all the shows between.
You got it. And all the shows between. Okay, so 4 lines in this stanza. Hold it up so I can see your beautiful penmanship as soon as you are finished. Should see all 4 lines. He watched all day, he watched all night till he grew pale and lean. From the early show to the late, late show and all the shows between. Who can say the next stanza from memory? Marcus? Tyke?
I can kind of do it. But it helps me to do the rest of the poem. So can I
Yes.
just do it till the third stanza?
Absolutely.
Jimmy Jett and his TV set by Shel Silverstein. I'll tell you the story of Jimmy Jett, and you know what I tell you is true. He loved to watch his TV set almost as much as you. He watched all day. He watched. No, wait, that's
You got it. He watched all day.
He watched all day, he watched all night, till he grew pale and lean. From the early show to the late, late show, and every show in between. He watched till his chin turned into a tuning dial.
Oh, not quite yet. The next one is he watched till his eyes
were frozen wide, and his bottom grew into his chair. His chin turned into a tuning dial, and antennae grew out of his hair.
and his brain.
And his brain turned into TV tubes. And he grew a plug like a tail. And his face to a TV screen. So he grew a plug like a tail. And we plugged in little Jim. And now instead of watching him watching TV, we all sit around and watch him. Jimmy Jett and his TV set by Shel Silverstein.
Great job, Tyga. There were 2 lines you missed right after his face turned into a TV screen. Do you remember the part about the ears? Rishith, do you remember that part? Can you say those for us, those 2 lines?
Sure.
And 2. And 2 knobs saying.
And two knobs saying Vert and Horace drew where his ears had been.
You got it. Good job, Rishith.
And can I also do the whole poem?
I would love you to say the whole poem, yes. If you haven't done so already, boys and girls, hold up your poem so I can see that stanza 2 in cursive, beautiful cursive. And then Rishith is going to say the whole poem for us. Wonderful, Samhita, Alina. I'm waiting for, it looks like Arshab and Sahanasri and Marcus. Great job, Rishith. Okay, you can say the poem for us now.
Jimmy Jett and his TV set by Shel Silverstein. I'll tell you the story of Jimmy Jett, and you know what I tell you is true. He loved to watch his TV set almost as much as you. He watched all day, he watched all night, from the early show to the late
Till
show.
he grew pale and lean.
And all the shows between, till he grew pale and lean, from the early show to the late show, and all the shows between. He watched till his eyes were frozen wide, and his bottom grew into his chair, and his chin turned into a tuning dial, and an antenna grew out of his hair, and his brain turned into TV tubes, and his face into a screen. And two knobs saying Bert and Horace grew where his ears had been, and he grew a plug that looked like a tail. So we plugged in little Jim, and now instead of him watching TV, we all sit around and watch him. Jimmy Jett in his TV set by Shel Silverstein.
Oh, great job, Rishith. Let's give him a hand. That was wonderful. We don't have recitations until next week, but you have it almost completely memorized. Way to go. We are going to do recitations next week. If possible, I'll have some of you continue doing recitations like this all together. But just like we have been doing, I'm going to also have you submit a video of yourself, and that's what will be graded. Okay? Yes, I agree with Alina. It was wonderful. Okay, let's do it all together and take a moment to stand up, move around. And I want you to act out Jimmy Jett in his TV set. Act like you're Jimmy Jett and you're going through the transformation. Ready? I'll tell you the story of Jimmy Jett. And you know what I tell you is true. He loved to watch his TV set almost as much as you. He watched all day. He watched all night till he grew pale and lean. From the early show to the late show and all the shows between. He watched till his eyes were frozen wide and his bottom grew into his chair. And his chin turned into a tuning dial and antennae grew out of his hair. And his brains turned into TV tubes. And his face to a TV screen. And two knobs saying Vert and Horace grew where his ears had been. So he grew a plug that looked like a tail. So we plugged in little Jim. And now instead of him watching TV, we all sit around and watch him. Jimmy Jett in his TV set by Shel Silverstein. Great job, everybody. Okay, so at this time, let's do a little bit of well-ordered language jingle review. If you all do not know your songs very well, I encourage you to open up your well-ordered language book to the very back so you can follow along with the lyrics. Who knows the preposition song that goes, a preposition? Who can lead the class in this one? Good job. Okay, Alina, how about you go? Lead us in preposition. Everybody echo back to her.
Wait, can we look at our book?
Certainly.
Okay. A preposition
A preposition
is a part of speech.
is a part of speech.
Uses show the relationship between certain words in a sentence.
In a sentence. Okay, and you're supposed to repeat it, but we can leave it at that. Great job. Okay. Can you all sing the phrase jingle with me? And then I'll have somebody help with a second time around. A phrase is a group of words behaving like one part of speech, not containing a subject or a predicate. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, Dikshita, can you sing the phrase jingle for us? A phrase.
A phrase is a group of words beginning with
Can you say behaving?
Behaving a
Like one
part of speech.
Mm-hmm. Not containing a subject
or a predicate.
That's it. Good job. Let's say those words one more time. Dikshita, use your book to follow along if you're not sure of the words. In the very back, look for the phrase jingle. So what is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words behaving like one part of speech, not containing a subject or a predicate. Behaving like one part of speech means it's acting like one part of speech. Phrases act like adverbs is what we've learned. Okay, who can do the object of the preposition song now? Alexander, can you do this one for us?
Yeah, it's just I forgot the tune.
Okay, the object of the preposition.
Okay. All right. The object of the preposition. The object of the preposition is a noun or pronoun after the preposition.
You got it. Let's do it again. The object of the preposition. The object of the preposition is a noun or pronoun after the preposition. Everyone do it with me. Let's stand up. I think you guys need to wake up a little bit. And make it kind of a hoedown. The object of the preposition. The object of the preposition is a noun or pronoun after the preposition. The object of the preposition. The object of the preposition is a noun or pronoun. Where is it? After the preposition. Great job. Okay, boys and girls, that's all we're going to do for our well-ordered language review. Oh, what did we forget? What's our other preposition song? Kruthi?
Our list of prepositions.
Can you do that for us? Who knows all 47 prepositions? Oh, I hope everybody. Kruthi, how about you do it for us? And then I'll give Ty a try.
Miss Garner, can I try leading?
We're going to have Kruthi do it right now. And I want everybody to say them along with Kruthi.
Can I say say in the fast too?
Wait, should we unmute ourselves and say, or
Boys and girls,
just-
only Cruci should be doing this right now.
Like, can I say it like the fast way? Or do I have to say it like your way?
You can sing it in the other tune.
Okay. Board about above, across after again, so long among around, preposition words, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, that, by, preposition words, down, during, set, for, from, inside, in, into, near, preposition words, off, on, out, outside, over, past tense, through, preposition words, throughout, to,
Throughout.
for, till, upon, with, within, without, underneath, preposition words, preposition words, preposition words.
Great job, Cruci. All 47 prepositions. Well done. The only slight thing that you'll need to work on is there's of, off, on. And I know it's tempting to just say off, on, or I feel like when we sing it fast, sometimes people say that, but make sure we say of, off, on. Of, off, on. Okay, and Tig, I'll have you end it for us. Can you do all 47 prepositions? And boys and girls, while he's doing it, please take out your orthography notebook and 2 index cards for roots.
Aboard, about, above, across, after, again, so long, among, around, preposition words, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, at, by, preposition words, down, during, except, for, from, of, off,
Except for, from,
except
inside.
for, from, inside, in, into, near, preposition words, throughout, to, toward, under, up, until, past, since, through, preposition words. Wait, no, sorry.
Throughout,
Off,
to,
on,
toward,
out,
under, up until,
throughout,
upon,
to,
with.
towards, under, up until, upon, with, within, without, underneath. Preposition words, preposition words, preposition words.
Great job.
Yay. Oh, and one more thing.
Yes?
Mom, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we're going to Texas next week. Oh, the week after.
Okay, right before spring break. That'll be fun. Okay, boys and girls, at this time, we are going to write our words in orthography notebook, and then I'll give you your last roots for the week. So we are doing words for lesson 80. The first word for today was proficiency. Please write proficiency. Next word was villain. After that, where does the villain fall at the end of the story? Into the great abyss. And finally, what is Sampita gonna eat for a little snack today? Cantaloupe. Okay, your words should look like this, boys and girls. Proficiency, villain, abyss, cantaloupe. Thumbs up if you're done writing all of those words. Proficiency, villain, abyss, cantaloupe. Once you're done, let's do our last 2 roots for the week. We've been learning the Latin word figo fixum and its derivatives. Who can give me one of the derivatives that we've learned? One of the derivatives. Josiah? Let me hear Ariansh instead.
Suffix.
Good. And what does suffix mean?
I think to attach at the end of a word.
Exactly. It's letters or syllables at the end of a word, attached at the end. All right, let me hear one more from Josiah. Can you unmute yourself now?
Transfix.
Transfix. Good. What does transfix mean?
Piercing through.
Piercing through. Nice. Okay, the first word we're going to look at today is fixture. Fixture. I don't see my red pen, but fix would be the Latin part. Fixture is a thing fastened in place. So it's the thing that's attached to something. You might have heard of this like a light fixture. And a thing fastened in place like a light fixture is fastened to the ceiling, hopefully. Fixture. Thing fastened in place. Okay, and our last new root for the week is crucifix. Crucifix. Now the fix part is fastened. Cruci actually means cross in Latin. So this is actually the term used for a specific like picture or medal or statue of Jesus Christ attached to the cross. Crucifix. And especially in like Catholic churches, this is especially common to have crucifixes places as a symbol. Yes, Tyke?
Don't ask me how I know about it, but does Christ the Redeemer in Brazil count?
Oh, very nice. Yeah, that would be a statue that's Christ as a crucifix. Very good. How do you know it? I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay, in the period between first and second grade, I was really into like geography and like where's where and like what's what. And so I read a whole bunch of books about it, and then it turned up in like every single one I read.
Very interesting. Okay, so this is very important in Christianity, that Christ died on the cross, that he was fastened to the cross and he died there because he took on the sins of other people. And he was a sacrifice, actually connected to a word we talked about recently. But in certain churches, they focus more on having like the pictures or statues of Christ on the cross. And Tig's example is a great example of that. Some of you have probably at least seen like pictures of that. Exactly. Yeah. Let me pull up that statue so that people can see it. Christ the Redeemer in Brazil. Actually, he's not on a cross in this one, so maybe this one actually would not be an example of a crucifix, but this is a very famous statue in Brazil. His arms are out, but he's not on a cross, so I'm not sure actually if that would count. But very good point, Tig. Yes, Josiah?
So is this thing? It's called Holy Land. You can see a play how Jesus died, and
Uh-huh.
so does. I don't think it's a statue, but I don't think he's on the cross. It's like that statue.
Oh, very interesting. So you have seen that play probably like in Branson. Do they have that?
Yeah, I see it.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to pull up this other picture of the crucifix. So here is the image of him on the cross with his arms out, just like that Christ the Redeemer statue. And once again, the story is very important, that happening to Christians. However, only some Christians have like the statues in the actual crosses places. So a lot of you, even if you do go to a Christian church, maybe you don't have those crucifixes around because that's more for Catholic churches. So that's our last one, crucifix. We are done with roots for the week. We will do a little quiz tomorrow. So you should have all of your cards ready to go. You can staple these together now. And we are going to start a new math unit today. You took your test on money yesterday. We're going to learn about the metric system for measuring today. So we'll learn about how to measure length, how long something is, also mass, how much something weighs, both in grams, but also we're going to learn about how to measure liquids. So we're going to be hearing about that today. I'd love for you to take out your math workbook. Actually, no, you don't need your workbook today. Sorry, just your notebook today. Samhita?
Actually, I'm going back to the Christ Redeemer. That's actually one of the wonders of the world.
Yeah, I think that's one of the
7 wonders.
7 wonders. There are natural wonders, but that's one of the man-made wonders of the world. And I don't know if you could see quite how large it was, but it makes sense that it is one of the wonders. Getting
My
a little
favorite out of
information
all of
about
them-
it. Uh-huh.
My favorite out of all of them is Taj Mahal.
Oh, that's your favorite of the wonders?
Because it's in
Very
India,
cool.
that's where, that's my religion.
Yep, that makes sense. So it's one of the new 7 wonders of the world. So I guess they have different wonders of the world. Some are natural, some are like the ancient wonders of the world, and this is considered one of the new 7 wonders of the world. And I'm not sure if Taj Mahal is in that same category. It probably is too, one of the new ones. But like the pyramids would be one of the ancient 7 wonders. Okay, boys and girls, for math today, we're going to take out our notebook, and that is all you need. Now, at the beginning of a new unit in math, you don't have homework. The only homework that I posted is a cool video going through the metric system that you'll watch. So that's your only homework for math today. Oh, I love it. Ty, can you find where it talks about the Christ the Redeemer statue?
It doesn't have a page about it.
Oh, it doesn't? Okay. That must have the ancient wonders. Is that right?
Well, it has all the natural wonders of the world,
The
plus a
natural
couple
wonders.
man-made ones.
Okay. Okay, boys and girls, I am going to skip over to our new unit. You know what? I'll just present my book instead. Skip ahead. Okay, now we are going to be hearing about measurement in this new unit. There are two ways that we generally measure things. We're going to be talking about the metric system in this unit. The metric system is what most of the world uses for measurement. It involves, for length, things like meters and centimeters. Oh, you found it, Tig. Nice. What does it say about Christ the Redeemer?
It just says its height.
Oh, that could connect. That could connect to what we're doing for math. What is the height according to the book?
"125 feet."
Nice. Okay, boys and girls, sorry, I'm going to grab a couple things. I'll be right back. Okay, so in this unit, we're going to talk about metric length, mass, and volume. Okay, so the metric system is what most of the world uses for measurement. The United States, however, uses something called standard unit of measurement. And so Tig read the height of the Christ the Redeemer statue, and it said how many feet tall it is. Feet is part of this standard unit of measurement. We're going to be talking in this unit on metric system unit of measurement. So
It also said how many meters tall it was, which is, it said it was 38.
oh, very good. So told feet and meters. So we're going to be talking about meters, which is a unit of measuring length. If any of you have rulers at home, it would be great to be able to use that during the this whole unit. Do any of you have a ruler around you? I see Saha Nasri holding hers up. What I have here is a yardstick, which I was seeing if it has the conversion to meters, and it unfortunately does not. Hopefully a lot of you have rulers at home that you can use though. Here's a little half ruler that I have. This is going to be very, very helpful in our unit. Rulers generally have length in both inches and centimeters. Centimeters are part of the metric system way of measuring. Oh, nice, Aryansh. Okay. So meters, centimeters, kilometers are all ways of measuring length, distance. Centimeters are for measuring very small units of distance, whereas a kilometer is kind of like a mile. It's for really far away distances. That's what we'd use for the longest distances. Yes, Tig?
My mom signed me up for this like youth fitness class, and in it you had to row as much, you had to use a rowing machine and row as much as you could in 6 minutes, and I rowed more in the rowing machine, and apparently I did more than a kilometer,
Good job.
which is 1,000 meters.
Nice. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's 1,000 meters. And some of you might have done marathons, or your parents have done marathons. Maybe your parents have done like a 5K. That means they have run 5 kilometers, 5K. So Kilometers, meters, centimeters, those are all ways of measuring length or distance. We're also going to be talking about measuring mass, which is how much something weighs. So if any of you have weighed yourself on a scale before, which you should have done in science recently, if nothing else, when we did the activity on how much you weigh on Earth compared to other planets, remember that? You figured out what your weight was in either pounds, or you can measure your weight in kilograms. Marcus?
In Gulliver's Travel, look, the guy met up with the 7-inch people.
In Gulliver's
They were this
Travels?
big.
Oh.
Yeah, Gulliver's Travels.
Oh, is that kind of like Gulliver's Travel, I bet? So we measure weight in the metric system with grams. As you can see up there at the top, it says 5 kg. Kg means kilograms. So you measure your own weight of something solid, like a person, with grams or kilograms. Grams are for little things like a marker that don't weigh much. Here's my coffee. Weighs a little bit more. So we'll be using, unfortunately, just pictures of scales for you to learn about measurement. If any of you have a scale at home, that would be great to use throughout this unit as well, though. Do any of you have like a kitchen scale at home that maybe you've got where your parents measure how much food weighs? I see Josiah and Rishith raising hands for that, Alexander. And then maybe some of you have a bathroom scale where you can stand on it. Do any of you have one of those at home? That might be very helpful as well, as long as it shows both the kilograms, not just pounds.
Oh, mine only shows pounds.
Okay. Well, ask your parents if there's a way of seeing also kilograms.
I also weigh myself after I get out of the shower.
Yeah. Aryansh?
So we have 2 weighing machines, one to weigh myself and then one to weigh my brother. So I think the one to weigh my brother, that would work good.
Yeah, ask your parents if there's one, that you can see both pounds and kilograms. Your brother's so tiny that it probably would be the type of scale to weigh small
It can
things.
do in pounds and kilograms.
Nice, that would be great. Yeah, so Aryansh has a baby brother under a year old. The scale to weigh him probably would work well for like measuring the weight of books and household objects as we do some things like that throughout the unit.
Now he's
just 6 months.
He's a half a year old.
Oh, when is his 6-month birthday?
I think on February 28th. That was when
February
he turned
28th.
6 months.
Nice. Okay, so we had the metric way of measuring length, which is in meters. Can you all say meters? Meters. Or with longer distance, kilometers. With shorter distances, centimeters and millimeters. Then we have the metric way of measuring mass. Can you all say mass? We measure mass with grams and kilograms. Grams and kilograms. And then for liquid, we have a different way of measuring. We measure liquid and we call it capacity. And do you know what the metric way of measuring capacity is, Aryansh? I see you excitedly raising your hand for that.
I think it's volume.
So it has to do with, measuring the volume of something. Exactly. So volume measures a liquid, and we call it liters for the actual measurement. So for little measurements, we say milliliters. For bigger measurements of liquids, we say liters or kiloliters. But usually we don't talk about huge amounts of water. So with that one, you'll be most familiar with liters and milliliters. Do any of you have, oh, and actually right here. For example, my water bottle has measurements for how much the capacity of this water bottle is. The volume could be 32 ounces or 900 milliliters. So probably a lot of you have water bottles at home that tell how many liters or how many milliliters something can hold. That would be really helpful to use in this unit too. Oh, nice, Harika. Or in your kitchen, ask your parents about whether they have something like this that actually has the amounts of liquid that can be measured. I bet a lot of your parents have something like this in the kitchen. So that's going to be a helpful thing in our unit. I see Samhita has one, Harika has one. Nice. Samhita has a plastic one, kind of like mine, almost identical actually. And then Harika has a nice glass one. Great. So I'll let you know, each day over the next week or so, we'll be talking about different ways of measuring, whether it's grams, where you'll need a scale, distance, we'll need something like a ruler, or something like this for measuring the volume of liquids. If you don't have any of these things at home, don't worry, because you'll have pictures to help you as well. But it's going to be really great if you have something hands-on to use. Okay, now let's go through our textbook pages. It's just going to be a brief little introduction today. And then, as mentioned, your homework assignment is actually a separate little video where it goes through the metric system. It's a nice little introduction. Okay, so metric length, mass, and volume. Could I have Arshab read the little cartoon for us? Are you there, Arshab? Arshab, make sure you are not leaving during class time. Let me have Alexander say it instead. Can you read this cartoon?
Yes. Let's record your heights and masses. I'm a meter.
This is, yeah, it looks like an I, but it's one, like number one.
Oh. I'm 1 meter, 58 centimeters tall. My mass is 48 kilograms. My height is 158 kilograms. My mass is 45 kilograms.
Good. And then he says, that's impossible. We're about the same height. How can that be? And the reason that they're saying that is because 1 meter and 58 centimeters is actually exactly the same as 158 centimeters. Because as we'll be learning in this unit, 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. So it's kind of similar to what we're talking about with money, like 100 cents is the same as $1. So we'll be talking about those conversions in this chapter. Okay, now let's begin by recalling some prior knowledge. If you were at our school last year, you should have learned some of this in 2nd grade. We'll be using some number bonds like we did in our money unit. And once again, this is something that's used a lot in practice, but by the time we get to the test, you don't have to use it. It's a good mental strategy though. We'll be learning about measuring length in meters and centimeters. A meter is a unit of length. It is longer than 3 feet. So this yardstick is 3 feet long. A meter is a little bit longer than that though. It is used for measuring length and height. So this is length, this is height. Stanley jumped 1 meter. And the cupboard is 2 meters tall, a little over 6 feet. Now for smaller things to measure, we use centimeters. Centimeters is used to measure shorter lengths. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Because centi means 100. The nice thing about the metric system is that you'll use some of the same things over and over again. Like centi will always mean 100. Now, let's go over kilograms and grams briefly. It says a kilogram is used to measure the mass of heavier objects. The gram is used to measure the mass of lighter objects. So this scale tells us the mass of the watermelon. What is it equal to? Can somebody read it? Harika?
The watermelon is 2 kilograms.
Good. Each of these little blocks is 1 kilogram. Kilograms are heavier than grams. So the watermelon is 2 kilograms. Now this is a little scale very similar to the one I showed you before. Kind of like a clock face. And it goes to whatever the weight of the object is. We have a lot of digital scales now, but this is kind of like a manual clock. It just goes around in a circle. So it's between 1 kilogram, or sorry, 0. It's between 0 and 250 grams. It looks like we're counting up by 50 grams each time, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. So how much does that mean the cup weighs? Samhita?
150.
Good, 150 grams is how much it weighs. If you have something like this at home, it would be best to use that. But if not, we'll just have to go through how to measure according to the pictures. And we'll be counting by, sometimes it'll be by 50, sometimes by 100. So the mug has a mass of 150 grams. Which one's bigger, grams or kilograms? Josiah?
Kilograms.
Good. Kilograms are bigger. They're 100 times as big. Okay, time for volume in liters. Once again, using measurement like this. So bottle A contains 4 liters of water. Bottle B is measured in milliliters instead. The ml stands for milliliters. It has 2 liters, or you could say 2,000 milliliters. Okay, so we'll be learning about liters as well. Let's do a quick little practice. This will be the last part of our lesson. And I know this is a little bit boring right now since you guys don't have something to work with on your own, but we'll get into our workbook soon and get into some hands-on things if possible. Okay, so who can figure out the height of the dog in meters? We're going to measure his height in meters. This says 0, 1, 2. What's the height of the dog in meters? Dikshita?
1.
1 meter, good. What is the weight of the flower pot? A little harder. In grams. This is 250. This is 500. It's going to be a lot easier to see these little details when you have your workbook. So these little red lines, I know it's a little bit hard to tell. Let me come in as close as possible. Between 250 and 500, looks like it's going to be counting up by 50s. So what comes after 250? Let's count by 50s. Josiah?
300.
Good. Can you say the next one? What comes after 300 if we're counting by 50s?
350, and then comes
Good.
400, and then comes 450, and then comes 500.
Good. And there's 500. So it's one before 500. So what is it?
450.
Good. 450 is what we would write. 450 grams. And finally, a volume question. Sahanasri, can you figure out what the volume is of container A? Notice that it goes to this line right here. And if this is 10, what do you think we're counting up by?
Okay. Eight.
Good. So it's 8 altogether, and we're counting by 1 liter each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 liters is how much container A holds. Marcus, can you figure out how many container B holds? If this is 5 liters up at the very top, and this is where it's filled up to.
It has 1 liter.
Close. So do you see the little tick marks? I know it's kind of small, but it's past 1. That's where it's filled up to. So Marcus, 5 liters is how much it could hold. And we have these little tick marks we're counting up by.
2 liters.
2 liters, perfect.
2.
I know it's hard to see the pictures very well. I promise it's going to be easier when you have your workbook, because that's going to be your workbook right in front of you, and you can come a little closer to the pictures. Okay, that's all for a little introduction of the metric system. I again encourage you to ask your parents if you've got any of these ways of measuring at home. Oh, sorry, I'm going to leave the meeting and come right back. So if you have rulers, if you have scales, if you have some beakers or ways of measuring liquids, that would be excellent. Ask your parents if you've got some things like that at home. Okay, so for your homework assignments for Bright Thinker today, by the way, Sahanasri, I see your little brother there, who I also saw at the park yesterday. Good to see you, bud. You have a math video to watch on the metric system. So you're not going to be writing anything. You're just going to be watching a video that's got a good explanation of the metric system. In literacy, you don't have any assignment except to finish the prepositions. Okay? So hopefully you started those prepositions yesterday. You're going to finish them up today. I know some of you already did finish. In literature, we're not going to read a new chapter of Farmer Boy. Today, we're going to have something called the Elements of Literature, where I want you to talk about who are the major characters in the story and who are the minor characters. Now, who could be major characters in the story? Maybe they're in like lots of chapters. And they're important to the story as well. Alexander, who would you say are the major characters so far?
The Wilder family.
Yeah, basically everybody in the Wilder family. Especially who?
His cousin?
I'd say his cousin is lower on the list because we've only seen him one time. I would call him a minor character. Minor means not as important. Aryansh?
It's Almanzo.
Almanzo. Yeah, I say Almanzo, but I think Almanzo might be the right way to do it. So Almanzo is definitely a major character. What's that?
It's easier to say Almanzo than.
Okay. Well, apparently I just heard from Miss Cristiano that she watched a video that pronounced it Almanzo from like the museum with Laurel Ingalls Wilder stuff. So it might be Almanzo. So Almanzo and I'd say father and mother are definitely big characters. They are major characters, right? Maybe lower on the list is Frank or the little French boys. They're low on the list. They're minor. Not very important. You'll also be talking about the plot of your favorite chapter so far. Is there a chapter in your mind that you feel like, oh, I loved that chapter? Samhita?
My favorite chapter is Surprise.
Oh, who also was going to write about that one? I know a lot of people loved that one. So if that's your favorite, write about 3 sentences or a little more about the important things that happened in that chapter, Surprise, and then you're going to draw a picture as well. You can draw a picture just on paper and have a picture taken like we would for bar models. Okay, and then the last part of that page is you'll write about the setting. And you don't have to know exactly when and exactly where the story is set, but describe where it takes place and describe when it's happening. Finally, for history, you've got some notes to take from yesterday and a couple of videos about Ponce de Leon and Christopher Columbus. And then for science, you're going to hear about color. Why is it that we see green as green? It's not that this book just shows off green light. There's no light coming from the book. It's actually that green gets reflected back to us. So that's a video for today. Any questions before we go? Ariansh, and then I'll get to Josiah.
So in history, those 2 videos, they won't work. When you click on them, they'll just go to another tab and just have it as Bright Thinker.
Oh, thank you for letting me know. I'll try to fix those soon. They were not YouTube videos, but I'll see if I can find them on YouTube since that seems to work better. But don't worry about it. If you're not able to watch it, just take the notes and don't worry about it.
Because I do want to watch those videos.
I would like you to watch them, so I'll try to figure out a better way to upload them. Thanks for letting me know. Josiah?
The Christopher Columbus video is working, but not the Ponce de Leon.
Okay, good to know. So I'll work on the Ponce de Leon video, but I'll also take a look at that Christopher Columbus.
I can find a Ponce de Leon video on the. It's like some of the next videos. The Ponce de Leon video. Miss Gardner, when I clicked the Ponce de Leon video, Christopher Columbus's video came.
You know, boys and girls, I just took the videos from the lesson plans from the person who does history plans. I did not click the links yet. So I need all of you just to have patience, and I will, after class is over, take a look at them, okay? For now, you've got some notes to take, and you can focus on just that part until I fix those video links. I will talk to you all soon. Just reading group stays for now. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody.
Bye, Miss Gardner. Bye, everybody. Bye.
And I want to say goodbye.
Bye, Miss Gardner.
Have a wonderful afternoon. I just need my reading group to stay to read some Treasure Island. Who's ready for that? Treasure Island. It's about to get exciting. Do you guys remember what happened last time we read?
They're about to go on the pirate adventure, like trying to go and find that island. The thing is, there's going to be a creepy picture about Long John Silver with no pet.